Get ready for the Italian Stallion. It's clear that the weakest point of the original was its styling. Simply, it's about the perspective, about how people look at certain car brands. No one had a problem with those aesthetics when there was a Mitsubishi badge. Japanese cars have never been particularly stylish, but we love them for other reasons, particularly for their impeccable quality. With Italian cars, we all expect to see more passion, a way more stylish approach, and thankfully, this will be the case for the new 2025 Fiat Fullback. The images of the new generation already appeared and the renderings look simply amazing. Bold design is all over the place, but perfectly blended with a classic Italian sense of style, which has nothing to do with the new L200 or any other pickup around. A massive grille is complemented by stylish LED headlights, while the narrow bumper and a massive skid plate clearly indicate strong off-road pretensions of the new pickup. The same story continues through the rest of the vehicle, with massive wheel arches and black cladding all over the truck. While the wheels probably look too shiny and too stylish for a pickup, we guess things could be a little bit different in the production version. These renderings show a comfort-oriented dual cab model with full-size rear doors, but we presume that the Italian car maker could also offer something more oriented to work. Something like an extended or more probably a single cab version with a longer cargo bed and more affordable price, which is, as we already mentioned, expected to be one of the model's key advantages over the fierce competition. More relatives this time. And how do you make a pickup affordable? Well, the first thing you need to do is not develop it all by yourself, especially if you don't have any experience in the segment. If you look at today's pickup market, most automakers have teamed up. Volkswagen based the new Amarok on Ford Ranger, while Mitsubishi and Nissan have been working together on their pickups. So what to expect from Fiat this time? As we already established, Fiat will this time take more responsibility and do exterior design on its own. But on the other hand, the mechanical aspect will once again have a lot to do with the Japanese company. Once again, the Fullback is going to be based on Mitsubishi's pickup, but this time, things are a little bit different. This time, Mitsubishi worked together with Nissan, so the outcome was a little bit different. The new L200 is more refined than its previous generation, and one of the reasons may be the fact that it adopted Nissan's Navaro's multi-link suspension setup on the rear end, which has a significant impact on the overall ride quality. The new 2025 Fiat Fullback could easily come with the same setup, but then, let's not forget that the goal is to offer the cheapest pickup on the market. For that reason, Fiat may decide to change things a bit and stick with good old leaf springs, which may compromise the ride quality but can only be beneficial in terms of utility. Speaking of utility, the previous generation was, just like the L200, capable of towing more than 3 tons and hauling more than 1 ton, which is pretty much a gold standard in the segment. In other words, buyers of the new Fullback would be paying less money to get the same level of performance as the pricier competition, and that's probably the only way to stand out and establish a good position on the market. Dimensions. Being closely related to Mitsubishi's pickup again also means that we know what to expect in terms of dimensions. If you look at the new L200, the most important change in its proportions is the wheelbase, which has been stretched to 130 millimeters. At the same time, changes in terms of total length are minimal, whether it's about the single or dual cab version, which are the two variants of the pickup Mitsubishi offers at the moment. So the same thing is about to happen with the new 2025 Fiat Fullback. It will get a notably stretched wheelbase. At the same time, the overall length won't change much, which in practice means shorter overhangs, which translates to better approach and departure angles, which then translates to better off-road potential. Not to mention that the longer wheelbase also lends to more passenger room, which we'll talk about in a moment. The new generation would also be wider, with a wider track, which brings benefits in terms of passenger room, but also makes the truck more stable and easier to drive. Powertrain and performance, proven options. In this quest for an affordable 4x4 pickup, there is no room for experiments. And why would they even be needed, considering that Mitsubishi has a couple of excellent engine options for this pickup? At first, some experts pointed out the possibility of seeing Fiat's turbo diesel under the hood, but that would only raise the production cost. After all, the good old 4N16 oil burner from the Japanese manufacturer is a perfect fit for a pickup like this, with its great mix of power and fuel efficiency. The new Triton is available in 3 engine variants. 2 of them we know from the previous generation Fullback. We're talking about single turbo versions of this 2.4-liter diesel engine, with max output of around 150 and 181 horsepower, or 110 and 135 kilowatts if you prefer. Along with decent power, there's a relatively decent max torque of 430 Nm, which is enough for a convenient ride, but not exactly on par with class rivals like Hilux and Ranger, which both come with 500 Nm diesel units. However, Mitsubishi recently launched a new version of this diesel engine with twin turbochargers to ensure more low-end torque and much better throttle response. The result is the max output of 201 horsepower or 105 kilowatts and a max torque of 470 Nm, which is almost as good as Toyota's 2.8-liter turbo diesel. And while we speak about proven design solutions, let's not forget to mention that the new Triton still relies on a good old 6-speed automatic transmission. It may lack gears when compared to most rivals, but generally, it works incredibly well, especially if we consider it's paired with one of the best four-wheel drive systems on the market. Affordable off-roader. Yes, you heard us very well. Mitsubishi has some of the best 4x4 systems in the business, and the 2025 Fiat Fullback will benefit from it a lot. More precisely, there are two systems, starting from the more famous Super Select 4-wheel drive, which is a genuine full-time 4-wheel drive system, with a center-locking differential, low-range gearing, etc. But let's keep in mind that Fiat needs to keep production costs low, so we think that the so-called Easy Select 4-wheel drive might be a better choice, at least for the most affordable versions of Fiat's pickup. That system is simpler and easier to use, though it's still quite effective. It's not a full-time 4-wheel drive system, but it does allow you to switch between 2- and 4-wheel drive modes, as well as to select low-range gearing. On the other hand, it doesn't offer the ability to lock the center differential, which may be a handicap for some, but once again, the Super Select system may remain available in more expensive variants, including dedicated off-road versions, which would come with many other upgrades, including better tires, off-road suspension, better underbody protection, and many more. Interior design. We already mentioned that rendering images clearly show a dual cab design, suggesting that the next generation Fullback is going to remain available in a comfort-oriented variant. With the stretched wheelbase, it should be more spacious than the original, while the cabin design might be a little bit different from Triton's this time. Namely, the main difference in the first generation model was the badge on the steering wheel. This time, Fiat will probably add a bit of its own flavor to differentiate from the Japanese relatives. That Italian flavor is always welcome, especially when you need to keep production costs low and save on materials and certain features. Fiat designers have always been great at doing that, so we have no reason not to believe in the best possible outcome. But besides comfort-oriented versions, we could also see a single cab model. Just like in the Triton, the wheelbase would remain the same as in the dual cab model, while the overall length wouldn't change much either. So the key difference would be in just a single row of seats and a notably longer cargo bed. Another big difference would be the price, because this cab style would allow Fiat to stand out as the most affordable four-wheel drive pickup around, which is currently the only way to compete in this crowded segment of mid-size pickups. And while we talk about the competition, some sources even speculate about the North American launch, where the new Fullback would compete with the likes of Toyota Tacoma, Chevy Colorado, etc. This is still on a long stick, especially if we consider the so-called chicken tax issue. So at this point, it's much more likely that the Italian automaker is going to stick with markets like Australia, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, etc. What do you think about the 2025 Fiat Fullback comeback? Is this the affordable 4x4 pickup truck we need? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.